Good time of day, guys! My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2, Watanagashi. Last episode, in the grand scheme of things, not a ton happened. We finished the curry competition, talked a lot about the anime and potential spoilers for the future of me just re-experiencing the story, because remember, I watched the original anime back in, I think, 2015. Yeah, I was a freshman in high school, so yeah, 2015. So yeah, while ago. Don't really remember everything. So yeah, after that, Rena and Keiichi talked about how people have different sides to them. And can I just say how hard it fucking was to make a title and thumbnail for last episode? I was like, what fucking character do I use? Because I don't like repeating characters and thumbnails all that much. Because, like, realistically, it would have made most sense to use Mion or Shion. But, like, I mean, I don't really want to use Mion and Shion back-to-back. And I don't want to use Shion and Shion back-to-back. So I settled on Satoko, so yeah, even though she did nothing last episode other than sit around and live rent-free in Keiichi's mind. So, yeah, that's one of the hardest parts about YouTube, unironically. Like, editing is not very hard. Well, I guess the voices that take a toll on my throat are pretty difficult, but thankfully there's not really anyone in this game that does that, at least yet. Maybe later down the line there will be a character who does that, but it's yet to be seen. There were a lot of characters like that in The World Ends With You. And by a lot, I mean Higashizawa and Minamimoto. That was kind of it. Beat a little bit, but not really. Regardless, let's actually talk about the game. Because before we get into me actually reading in this episode, there's a few things I want to talk about. Some of it's spoilers, but we're not going to talk about that yet. First things first, we're gonna talk about how I'm a fucking prophet. I have not talked about this at all, but every now and then I have dreams. Like any normal person, unless you don't have dreams, I guess. And I mean dreams as in, like, you know, you fall asleep and your brain creates a world in there that makes no fucking sense. That kind of dream, not dreams as in, like, ambitions for the future. I don't think I needed to clarify that, but regardless, I have dreams occasionally where I buy or have things that don't fucking exist. So, I had a dream the other night that I went to a secondhand game/general nerd shop in a city near my house, a store that does not exist because my brain made it up, and while I was there, I bought a Nendoroid, one of those little chibi-esque figures of Rena. And then when I woke up, I was like, that doesn't fucking exist, does it? So I looked it up, nope, didn't exist. This was a few nights ago, by the way. Shit's changed. So, the morning after that dream, so not like the morning I woke up, the day after, I guess, I woke up to an email from Tokyo Otaku Mode, because I've bought stuff from them in the past, so they send emails, like, whenever there's a new wave of new figures. And I'm just like, oh, new figures, cool, let's look at them and not buy them. And I noticed in the email, it's like, because it shows some of the franchises that they're from, and one of them was Higurashi, and I was like, oh god. And it wasn't a Nendoroid of Rena, it was just a straight-up scale figure that was like $150, and I had never bought a figure that was over, even, I think the most expensive one I've bought was 80 bucks. It was a Figma of Haru from Persona 5. But I've never bought one that's over $80. But I looked at it and I was just like, fuck it, I'll buy it now and regret it later. So I bought it. I obviously don't have it because it's a pre-order, but come May, I'm going to be like, oh, so that's why I had $150 less in my bank account since October. So yeah. So I bought that, and then last night, I think, I follow Good Smile on Twitter because they occasionally show a bunch of waves of new figures and stuff, and so they were doing one, and I noticed there were a lot of cool figures just in general there, but Like, there was a Nendoroid of the Doomslayer, which fucking, whoa. But then they showed a Nendoroid of Rena, and I'm just like, yep, I just have dreams about things that don't exist, but they changed reality. Granted, it probably technically existed then, because that dream wasn't even a week ago. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna buy the Nendoroid also, because I feel like Nendoroids... I don't have any Nendoroids, but the way I view them, it's like they're great for characters that aren't humanoid, or aren't anime-esque. So that's, like, why I would probably consider buying the Doomslayer one. But, like, I think there's one of Morgana from Persona 5, and I know that there's ones of Monokuma and Monami from Danganronpa. And those just straight up look like figures of the actual characters. But if you have a Nendoroid of a more human character like Rena, it's just chibi. Like, it's cool, but still. I don't know if I'll buy it. We'll see. Maybe I'll just buy it on a whim, but I don't think the pre-order link exists yet. It might by the time this video goes up, but regardless. So yeah, I had a fucking dream that something that doesn't exist existed, and then it exists. Cool. I only talked about that here because it's related to Higurashi. I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, but whatever. The second thing is I need to bring up one of my friends, the most chaotic person I know. Well, I know a lot of chaotic people, but my friend Seth, king of bad takes. He's a Republican. It comes with the territory. I mean, you could tell that... Regardless, I was about to say something personal about him there, but let's not, because... Let's not. Seth not only gives bad takes, he gives interesting takes. Sometimes. I've tried in the past to make him read Umineko, and when I showed him a picture of the game, he's just like, that red-haired dude looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. Fucking... Seth just comes out with the fucking curveball of, yeah, Battler, he doesn't know his name is Battler, looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. I hate that. I despise that. I hate that so fucking much. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but another thing that he did, which I know I haven't mentioned before, is when I tried to get him to read the first chapter of Higurashi, a while ago, because it's free on Steam, obviously. This was probably like a month ago, actually. And he was just like, you need to give me a pitch before I even consider it, and I'm just like, okay, fair. So I was basically just like, new guy moves to rural village, happy fun times, nobody dies, smile. So, and then he's just like, huh, sounds like ReZero. Of all fucking things he can attribute it to, ReZero. To explain the irony with that, we're gonna go into spoiler time now, and I'm also gonna talk about the other things that relate to spoilers, because they're about the anime. So, yeah, same rules apply as usual. When I pull up the menu, it's safe to come back. Mute now if you don't want to hear spoilers. So, if you know how this, you know, Rika, how she's trapped in the time loop, how the fuck does Seth get ReZero from my description of it? When nothing about it sounds like ReZero, but he still hits the nail on the head. And he hasn't seen it before, or read it, so... Unless he's just fucking ridiculously stupid curveballing back around to smart-esque. I don't know, dude. How the fuck does he do that? Just the worst. Just the absolute worst. I tell him he just predicts a twist on a whim. Without knowing anything about the game other than people probably die. Because I feel like the only anime... He hasn't seen a bunch of anime. I feel like the only anime he's seen where people die is ReZero. So that's probably why he said that. But still, he's a fucking isekai nut. Like, that's his deal. His favorite anime are among, like, Overlord and Slime Reincarnation, which I haven't seen either of them, but whatever. I don't know if people die in those shows because I haven't seen them, but regardless, how the fuck does he do that? How the fuck does he do that? I am pissed off beyond belief that he did that, and that was a month ago! So, yeah. Now let's talk about the anime, because while I did talk about the most recent episode last episode, there's a few more things that I want to say. First off, I got a comment clarifying that Tomatake did not play games with the club at the festival, nor did they write on his shirt. So that means Keiichi isn't even thinking about the potential of there being drugs. Since also, as far as he's aware, Tomitake hasn't died due to him scratching out his throat with Hinamizawa syndrome. So drugs haven't even been brought up, which is interesting. It still goes back to the whole syringe thing at the end of Onikakushi. So, yeah, I'm terrified. But so yeah, it's good to hear that. It's definitely gonna go in a very different direction, I feel. Or maybe just similar but different, to like introduce something more to the story. So, I don't know. Regardless, the second thing, I don't know how I didn't fucking bring this up when I had talked about how Rena's outburst happens after Keiichi and Oishi go to, Angel Mort instead of before. But Rena's whole outburst there is entirely different from how it is in Onikakushi. Because in Onikakushi, her whole outburst basically amounts to, Keiichi, you're also keeping lies from us. That's essentially all it is. But in this one, she talks about how people are working insanely hard to get by, and how she worked insanely hard too. Don't know what that's about. Feel like that's probably something that I'm missing. Cause like, alright, let's actually talk actual spoilers. So if you are still, unmuted because I'm talking about the anime, mute now because I'm gonna talk about what happens later on in the story to my knowledge. So, part of me remembers this, pink-haired girl. I don't remember her name, but from what I can remember, she's having an affair with Rena's dad? Or maybe she's just his girlfriend. I don't remember, but either way, I remember Rena doesn't like this very much. And in, I believe, Arc 6, I could be wrong here. I'm pretty sure it's Arc 6, because I think that's the one where Rena goes crazy. She kills this bitch. And dismembers her, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% sure that happens. I know she kills her at least. I distinctly remember her splitting her head in half with the hatchet. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I get the feeling that maybe, because like Mion hasn't shown any signs in the anime of being super creepy. Like there was the one thing where she denied there being any tragedies in the past, like a dismemberment at the, whatever the fuck, what's it called? The dam site? So, yeah, or maybe was it Satoshi? I don't remember what she denied, but she denied something. Of course, that could also just be because there's been no scenes like that yet, where Mion looks crazy to Keiichi. That doesn't happen until the Mochi scene, which will, if it's going to happen in the anime, it'll happen next episode, that's for sure. But I don't know. Rena's whole outburst there, I get the feeling that it has something to do with how she goes crazy in Arc 6. So, from what I remember her doing in that arc, she kills that pink-haired bitch, and she fucking, what else does she do? She kills the pink-haired bitch and she holds the school hostage. And then I think it ends with her and Keiichi fighting on the rooftop. I don't remember if either of them die there, but maybe? Maybe not. I don't think so. Because if anyone dies there, it's Keiichi, but yeah, I don't know what work Rena's done, what she's referring to, unless the death of pink-haired bitch happens in every arc, but I don't think so, because then that would imply that Rena has the innate desire to murder her. The only reason I remember this bitch in the first place, because I didn't before the anime started airing, the ending song in the anime shows Rena standing outside of presumably her father's room, because I think her mother's either dead or MIA for some reason. And I'm pretty sure her real name, Rena, she was named after her mother, but I could be wrong there too. Either way, she doesn't like being called Rena, I know that for sure. And in the background, there's just a fucking futon on the floor with someone, presumably, or quite obviously, having sex in it, and I'm assuming it's her father and Pinky. We'll just call her Yashiro for now, because the way I can only just picture Yashiro in my mind, because I'm pretty sure she looked pretty similar to Yashiro. Older, though, but still. So, yeah, fuck. What am I getting at again? Lost my train of thought. That's been happening all day. Yeah, the ending sequence showed that, so I was like, oh yeah, I remember Pinky. Very faintly, but maybe there wasn't that much to her in the first place. I don't know. She might not even have a sprite in the game, because there's been some characters that just don't even have sprites. So, yeah, they just walk by random people, but that would make sense. Well, no, she probably would have a sprite then if she's a major-ish character who gets killed by a major character. But, yeah, I'm just more attributing it to random passerbys. Or is it passersby? I don't fucking know. People that they just walk past who occasionally are actually important characters. Because, like, Keiichi went to the fucking hospital in the last arc, met the doctor. That was supposed to be Irie, right? But they never said his name or showed a sprite, so I don't know. And there was also how Kumagai, I think his name is, was in some of the tips in Onikakushi, but he didn't have a sprite. But then he did have a sprite at the very end, after Keiichi had scratched out his throat in the phone booth. So I don't know there. Regardless, what else is there to say? There's definitely other things to say. I know that I'm not... Oh yeah, Satoko's uncle. I remember him now, too. That's something. Because he was also shown in the ending sequence. A bit more front and center. I remember he's a big guy who wears a pink Hawaiian shirt. And I believe in Arc 3, Keiichi kills him. I believe. I don't know if he shows up in any arc besides that, but... we'll see. Regardless, that's about all I have to say. This was nearly 20 minutes of me just talking. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Either way, the differences in the anime are fucking wild so far, and I'm scared, so, yeah. Welcome back! Let's start the game 18 minutes into the fucking recording. It was the same relaxing walk home as always. Digging around my pocket on a whim, I noticed something that should have been there was missing. What's the matter, Kei-chan? The key to my house I always carry around is gone. Man, where did I lose it? It's fine today since my parents are home, but still, this is bad.
That sure is troublesome. Did you forget it somewhere? Or did you drop it?
Which one was it? Did I take it with me this morning in the first place? Huh? Kei-chan, did that key have anything that would make it stand out? Yeah, it's on a keychain. It was a blue fur seal, something I made for summer homework a long time ago. Huh? Does it have its eyes shut, like it's taking a nap? Oh, how did you know? Yeah, that's it. Mion looked away and began to whistle. See? You went for dinner at Angel Mort a couple of days ago, right? That night, the staff found a key, and there was a fur seal keychain attached to it. As she said that, she suddenly grew flustered and added that Shion had told her about it. Haha! Huh? So I dropped it then. Also, I was told in the comments that Keiichi does, suspect Mion and Shion of being the same person. Not sure under what moniker, probably Mion, but still.
But aren't you glad they found it? I'm sure they're looking after it for you.
That's right. Why don't you go? Shion looks the same as me, so you'll know her by sight. This was a rather unexpected development. Once again, I had no choice but to go and meet with Shion. But I also had to thank her for the bento from yesterday. Besides, taking some time and chatting with this other side of Mion might be interesting. Half jokingly, I began to think about things like this. Right. Angel Mort, was it? I'll head over to Shion's restaurant and get my key back. While I'm at it, having a nice spot of tea might not be a bad idea. You sound like an English gentleman. That totally doesn't suit you, Kei-chan. Well, pip pip cheerio, adios.
Is this the restaurant? The one that Mii-chan's little sister is working at?
Yeah, why don't we go together, Rena?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I have plans with my father today. Some other time.
Rena seemed pretty disappointed about having to miss such a great opportunity. Why don't you fucking tease Mion and be like, why don't you come with me?
You said they're twins, but do they really look that much alike? Enough to mistake which is which?
Yeah, they're totally the same. At least, on the outside. Unlike Mion, she's well-mannered and really cute, though. In response to my teasing, Mion pouted and began to argue with me. I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Mion's little farce. After all, they weren't just identical, they were the same person. Wow, okay. Man, if only I went for like 5 more minutes, I would have fucking got to there. And been like, yeah, he does suspect it, huh? After going home, I changed my clothes and dug my bike out of the garage. Just thinking that I would be able to meet Shion again gave me a mysterious feeling. Shion, a name for a different kind of Mion. She was a mysterious and ridiculous person, believing she had fooled everyone like that. I noticed that I was pedaling along quite happily. Could it be that I was looking forward to meeting Shion? I felt a sense of giddy anticipation, like I was headed towards a new friend's house for the first time. What Rena said about Mion actually being really feminine sprang to mind once again. The guilt from spying on another side of Mion, the self-consciousness from being the only one that knew about that side, these feelings mixed together. That was Shion for you. Mion's little twin sister. Until she felt like coming out and admitting she was Mion, it was fine to just call her Shion, right? Mion might be trying to have some fun by acting out a different persona. As I reached the top of the steep hill, the horizon expanded before me. I was almost at the station. The last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here was... Right, the last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here with Dad, but this time I was alone. I was strangely self-conscious about it. Meet Shion, get my key back. That was all this task was supposed to be. Come to think of it, we have not seen Oishi at all this arc, have we? Wonder when he'll show up, if he shows up. Because I don't remember anything he does past Arc 1, again. So, yeah. If I dawdled around like this, maybe Shion would find me before she headed in for work. Hey, what are you doing, Keiichi Maebara? You're just here to get your key back, you know? It's not like you're some love-struck schoolboy here to hand over a love letter. The thoughts inside my head were slowly turning into a jumbled mess. Keiichi, I'm gonna get out the spray bottle, the horny be gone. I came to the realization that I was downright giddy. That's why, for just a bit, just a tiny little bit, I got a little carried away and did something really stupid. I kicked over a parked motorcycle that was blocking the sidewalk. Great job. It was in the way, sure, but there was absolutely no need for me to kick it. I definitely think I got too carried away. Thunk, clack, awesome, time to get jumped. Crash. As the 3 bikes toppled one after another like dominoes, the loud noise they caused snapped me back to my senses. Oh, shit. The hell you think you're doing? Great. The owners of those 3 bikes were right there. They looked exactly like what you'd call thugs up to no good. They lifted their heads up in an imposing manner, and yelled angrily in a way I had never heard before. The 3 of them beelined towards me, the worn-down heels of their thin-soled... Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Of their thin-soled shoes slapping noisily against the pavement. I could only stare listlessly, as if I were watching some far-off event that didn't concern me at all. By the time I realized it, I had been grabbed by the collar and lifted onto my tiptoes. Didn't be playing dumb! You knocked them over, didn't ya? Huh? Let me go, please. The 3 thugs were completely ignoring the rules of grammar, but the way they spoke was enough to make me tremble. Just like that, my composure drained away. My legs buckled and my throat grew dry enough to crack. And then he died. I'm sorry. I accidentally... Accident my ass? You kicked it, didn't you, dumbass? I was completely at fault, so there was nothing I could say in my defense. As a result, I was pulled even higher. The hell, man? The paint's all scuffed. Joe Brat, who put you up to this, eh? This is your goddamn fault. Okay, this is hard to read. The 3 of them continued to yell at me. I had no idea what each of them were saying. Getting further enraged that I was only listening while dumbstruck, they grabbed an empty plastic crate from a nearby store and began to smash it repeatedly against a telephone pole. Okay. Seems like an odd thing to do, but go off. Cracks formed in the crate, plastic shards flying everywhere. They then slammed at full force into the shuttered storefront. Smash! The shutter let out a frighteningly loud noise. Still not satisfied, they flipped over a case of empty cans, scattering its contents all over the place. Bit much to intimidate a 15-year-old kid, but okay. This was not normal. It was something you saw often on television or in manga, but I never thought seeing it in person would be this terrifying. I became painfully aware that the safety of civilized society was only held up by such a frail concept as morals. My knees clattered together noisily. Static began to pepper my vision. This is what you would call absolute terror. There was nothing I could do to stop this frightening spectacle of violence. I could only pray for help. The fear I felt was just too much. Would somebody help me? My gaze floundered about the surrounding area. I was surrounded by these three hoodlums. Oh, maybe this is gonna be how Oishi enters. He's just like, "Hey, what's going on here? Get lost, you fuckers! I got a gun! Bang, bang, bang!" No way would there be a passerby brave enough to intervene. Maybe this is what you call reaping what you sow. If I were a passerby, there would be no doubt that I'd ignore what was going on. So this was somewhat of a cosmic retribution. Fucking say something! I'll fucking stab ya! Angry louding. Nice! Angry yelling loud enough to rattle my eardrums spewed forth right in front of my face. My waning consciousness was forcibly dragged back to the forefront. The thug had cocked back his free hand and twisted his body, when suddenly a metallic taste filtered through the back of my throat. A chill ran down my spine like a jolt of electricity. Seeing what was going to happen next, I squeezed my eyes shut as tightly as possible and grit my teeth. Oh, okay. Hi, Shion. I was expecting Oishi. I was thinking someone would help him, but not you, but alright. You're making quite the racket, you stupid pieces of trash. Get out of my sight! That voice was a short distance away. Still holding me by the collar, the three thugs spun around to look behind them. Oh, jeez. The fuck you say? Standing there was Shion. Howdy. I mean, Mion. She stood there, displaying an imposing stature that I'd never seen before. She didn't have the same look on her face as she did when we were playing around during club. Those were the eyes that would instill fear in anyone who looked upon them. The eyes of a raptor. Okay. They were the epitome of terror. At the same time, they were the most reassuring things in the world. I'll only say this one more time. Let go of Keiichi and get lost! Mion, without an ounce of fear, laid down her ultimatum. Of course, there was no way those three wouldn't go absolutely berserk. The situation instantly turned explosively dangerous. You fucking bitch! I'll fucking bash your head in! Stop it, Mion. These guys are like rabid dogs. No amount of bluffing will work. Mion, it's dangerous, so I knew what I was saying was pathetic, but I couldn't let Mion get involved in this. No matter how you looked at it, Mion was only bluffing. But did Mion even know the meaning of the word bluff? However, the reason behind everything soon became apparent. They were slowly increasing in number, little by little. At first, it was only businessmen on their way home stopping to take a look. Then it was housewives in the middle of shopping taking a gander. Next, what seemed like the owner of some store showed up, and it was pretty clear he wasn't just looking. Around Mion, there was already about 7 people gathered. It felt different than people coming out to support a friend. If I had to say why, it's because the group that gathered was diverse in age and gender. The 3 thugs seemed to slowly realize that there was something strange about the situation. Who the hell are these guys? Behind them, at some point, 4 more people of differing clothes, and ages had gathered. A girl who looked to be in middle school, a man wearing a bakery apron, an old lady in a house cleaning smock. More and more, people of various ages. Their gazes, comparable to Mion's, were of hostility, of intimidation. Before I realized it, over 10 people had formed a ring around us. At that moment, 5 elementary schoolers ran in and joined the circle. There were some familiar faces, some of our classmates. Then these people were Residents of Hinamizawa? More and more people from Hinamizawa gathered around. In obvious contrast, the residents of Okinomiya were passing by as quickly as possible. The fuck are you guys? Go the fuck away! The group surrounding us had suddenly swelled to around 20 people. Completely encircled, the faces of the thugs began to show the first signs of panic. Nobody spoke a word, Mion included. That made everything completely unnatural, and depending on which side you were on, completely terrifying. Only the thugs' voices echoed out like they were screaming. Somebody took a step forward, closing the gap between them. As they did, everybody else took a step forward, shrinking the circle. The hoodlums went pale as they were pushed together, back to back, while still yelling angrily. They were trying to string together vulgarities, but for some reason it sounded like they were crying out for help. Okay. Oh, policeman. Alright. What's going on here? What's going on? It was sudden. A solidly built officer cut his way through the crowd. At some point, 2 police cars had arrived. Some passerby had undoubtedly called for them. Is this where Oishi's gonna show up? Several burly officers appeared from inside the second vehicle.
Oh, officer! Good timing. There you go. The extortionists caught red-handed. Please arrest them.
The fuck? This brat's the one that's wrong here! Mion, returning to her usual self, was nonchalantly pointing out the hoodlums to the police. Of course, the thugs were furious, but now that it had come to this, there was nothing they could do. It was their loss. Okay. Come over here for a sec. Come on already! The officers handcuffed the thugs and dragged them towards the patrol cars. Okay, no Oishi, huh? The fuck? Let me go! We're the victims here, are you listening, damn it? No matter how much of a ruckus they caused, the officers paid no heed. In the blink of an eye, they were crammed inside the 2 vehicles. They could still be heard yelling while inside the police cars, but what they were saying was no longer intelligible. Oh, never mind, hi! Are you alright? Are you injured? I forgot what voice I gave you. He was probably a detective. The man leading the police peered at my face. No, not really. Well, that's a bit of a silver lining then. Well then, have a good year. The portly man, after taking a quick look around, addressed the crowd. Thank you, citizens, for your timely report. Thanks to your efforts, we were able to keep the peace today. It's a wonderful thing. He's laughing different than he did in the last arc, but okay.
Thank you for your hard work, Detective Oishi. As a citizen, I thank you for your daily efforts. It's an honor for a detective from the 1st Division to come out all this way.
The way Shion talked didn't have a very pleasant tone. I figured it wouldn't. It was a coincidence. I happened to hear the call over the radio on my way back from the prefectural office. I just made a little detour.
Please keep up the good work. I pray for success in your future endeavors.
Ah, shucks. It's a good thing there were no injuries, so. Oh, Kumagai. I forgot what voice I gave him, damn it. Oishi-san! We're done here! Let's go! Well then, have a good year. I'm sorry, could you make way? The detective named Oishi, after jovially making pleasantries, lumbered over to the waiting police car. It quickly set off, disappearing down the city street. It was over so quickly. So quickly, I was dumbstruck. I didn't even get to ask the officer what was going on. It was like they came here quickly to disperse the mob before any trouble could start. After making sure the police cars had left, Mion snapped her fingers sharply.
Alright, that's a wrap. And don't come back!
That was the signal. The tension melted away in an instant as everybody began smiling. A middle-aged man helped me up. Are you okay, young Mayabara? Next time pick your fights a bit better. It's not like I wanted to fight.
Are you hurt anywhere? If you hit your head, it would be a good idea to get an x-ray taken.
Taken, rather. An older lady I didn't know the name of was concerned about my injury.
You were lucky this happened right in front of the station when it was busy. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to gather as many people. Next time, be more careful. City kids these days are pretty unruly. Honestly.
I was even warned by the old lady in the smock. Oh, old lady, darn. As Shion finished applauding the dispersing group for their efforts, she strode over to me.
Well, you're pretty good, Kei-chan. But I also think you should be more careful about who you pick a fight with.
Thanks, Mion. You saved my bacon there.
Like I said, I'm Shion.
She made a troubled expression. She turned her gaze downward, blushing in embarrassment.
I heard from my sister. That first seal keychain was yours, Kei-chan?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was just heading to the restaurant.
And you ended up feeling so excited that you got mixed up in something weird.
Now it was my turn for my face to go red. I didn't want to admit that she was spot on. Well, I was just unlucky. But you really saved me, Shion.
You don't have to thank me. So, if you see somebody else getting bullied, help them out, okay? We value that kind of thing very highly here.
I was well versed in that sense of camaraderie. But the way I was rescued just now, something seemed a little off about that. While I was helped out, it was honestly to an almost disturbing degree.
You're coming into the restaurant, right? You must be tired, so why don't you relax for a bit? My treat.
Seems that she caught the glimmer of suspicion in my eyes. Without waiting for my answer, Shion began walking. Okay. Scoliosis. We almost fucking died, but Shion just says no, and we don't die. Awesome. Alright. After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little, I realized I was still on edge. There were spots here and there on my body that hurt, probably because I had been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee.
Here you go, iced coffee on the house. Just bring this coupon with you to the register and it'll be no charge.
My patheticness really knew no bounds, but since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on the offer. Even though it had started out as such a lovely day, I had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. I had completely ruined it. But really, you really saved my hide there. I've really come to see you as reliable.
Even I was scared, but Kei-chan was in trouble, so I had to be brave and do my best.
While a little embarrassed by what she just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms boldly. Shion, really? Thank you. I was thanking Shion, but I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you.
Now, cheer up a little. If you feel indebted, then when you have the chance, you should help somebody in need. Like, for example, if I'm ever in trouble, please come and save me.
Yeah, of course. It's a promise.
You absolutely have to.
Taking advantage of my words, she seemed happy about my promise.
So if I'm ever in trouble, Kei-chan will come and save me. I hope trouble comes soon. You finally smiled.
She said as she smiled herself, poking me in the cheek.
A downtrodden Kei-chan is as good as an imposter.
Imposter's not spelled that way. I know that because of fucking Among Us.
Come on, smile, smile.
That tickles. Stop. Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a little. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little.
When you're in a better mood, don't you get a little hungry? I'm kind of hungry, so I want to eat some pancakes or something.
Did somebody say delicious pancakes? Get the fuck out of here, you little idiot! This is not a place to kill people. Leave. Yeah.
Do you want some too, Kei-chan?
I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint really wasn't my thing. No shit. That's why I replied without any. They're good, right? I'm pretty picky when it comes to pancakes.
Don't worry. Our pancakes have a pretty good reputation.
Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. An employee ordering from another employee seems kind of weird. Hey, speaking of that, weren't you in the middle of a shift? You've just been slacking off while talking to me.
I told my uncle that you saved me while when I was surrounded by hoodlums, so he's rewarding you. So I have the manager's permission.
That's exactly the opposite of what happened. Is that alright?
It's perfectly fine.
By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. Okay. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat. About what was on TV, celebrities, that kind of thing. Hobbies, food, really nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey now, that's funny talk, Keiichi Mayabara. Shion and Mion are the same person. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. But given that, how come our conversation was this different?
Kei-chan, you don't think of my sister as a girl, do you?
That's not true. If she were a guy, I'd punch the living daylights out of her.
I think the reason you guys get along so well is because you have that kind of platonic relationship. That's a pretty rare and enviable thing to have, don't you think?
I don't get what you're saying, but it really would be a waste to treat her like a girl.
Hey, Kei-chan, that's sexist.
Hearing the word sexist was cause for introspection. What was I prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. She was the best friend a guy could have. No reservations, and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I had met her 5 years earlier, my life would have probably been a lot more fun. Of this I had no doubt. And what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister, and it hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant, as the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion, it was the same. I was somebody she met 3 days ago only because I was a friend of her sister's. The difference between Mion and Shion? Friendliness. Familiarity. Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I had stopped listening to Shion.
Hypothetically, okay? Are you listening?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm listening.
This is just a hypothetical.
Hypothetical, got one. Yeah, good job.
This is just a hypothetical question, okay? Both me and my sister are in trouble, okay? We're dangling off the side of a cliff. Which one of us do you save? You can only save one.
She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice. That's not a nice question. I want to save you both, but I can't do that, right?
Right. You can only save either Shion or Mion. Who do you save?
If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get out of herself. But what about the normal, frail Shion? I guess I'd have no choice.
It's not my sister, right?
If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. I couldn't confirm nor deny it. She should have been smiling, but her gaze was locked firmly to mine.
In other words, that's it, isn't it? My sister is... Huh. Sorry, I messed up what I was trying to say.
Shion was trying to talk in a lighthearted manner, but I felt that there was something more behind her words. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation around.
More importantly, just now, were you surprised?
Of course I was! If it were Rena or Satoko, that would have been one thing. But for all those people, young and old together, they were all from Hinamizawa, right?
Yeah, that's right. Everybody in Hinamizawa is pretty close-knit. An enemy of one is the enemy of all. Nobody is going to look on from the sidelines. They're a pretty reliable group of residents.
If somebody is being picked on, then everybody unites to get rid of the bully. Kinda sounds like the Mafia or the Yakuza's brand of unity.
You shouldn't say something like that. It's something you should be thankful for. You were saved by that unity, weren't you? Never forget to show your appreciation.
I half-heartedly agreed. I knew full well I should be appreciative. Everybody really is close-knit, aren't they?
Maybe it's because of tradition. Hinamizawa has been in danger of becoming a ghost town on several occasions. There's been a history of the villagers uniting together each time to fight for the village's continued existence. For example, Kei-chan, did you know about the Hinamizawa Dam Project?
Hinamizawa Dam Project? Let's see. I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before. My dog is going ballistic right now. Fun.
About 10 years ago, there was a sudden proposal to build a dam here, which would have submerged Hinamizawa underwater. Oh, that story. I think I heard my dad talk about that. But I'm pretty sure that plan was cancelled, right? We made them cancel it. Everybody banded together. So that was a well-earned victory. That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protest intensified to the point where it was featured in newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended. The whole story with the dam apparently started before I was born. At first, the proposal was only for exploratory purposes, or a small dam to control erosion. But then the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan. Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protests immediately began. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. They even went so far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. The previous landowners sued the government, stating there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project. It was all very precious when the land acquisition was still about money. Eventually, they started relying on eminent domain in order to seize land. It started at that point. The riot police began to get violent.
Riot police? You mean the police? Why would they act violent? This isn't America.
They punched. They kicked. There was a time I was hit. Right around here, I think. My skin split open and a whole lot of blood spilled out.
Saying that, Shion indicated her temple by poking at it. What happened to the police? Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. You wouldn't be able to establish proof on who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with police duties.
My nana went off like a firework. After that, it was amazing. Like a full-scale war. We weren't just going to sit by and idly file complaints. We went on to the offensive. On the offensive, rather. First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constituents when he approved the project, and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, a ferocious conflict worthy of being called the Dam War began. In order to suppress the police's brutality, they coordinated with the network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to the public. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the government repressing the citizens and aired it nationally. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT teams had their hands cuffed. Interesting. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit, or the government finally decided against it. It was announced that the dam project was indefinitely suspended just a few years ago. My eye hurts. We did everything we could. The entire village banded together and fought. At that time, we were desperate, but now that it's over, it's actually become a pretty good memory. The villagers' feelings of solidarity and unity still haven't faded. Shion said that as she focused off into the distance. I felt that those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride. That kind of solidarity is pretty nice. You don't see it too often, bridging the generation gap and unifying the region. I think so too. The dam project was a trial. I think that just the fact we were able to overcome it is huge. The fear I was feeling until just now gradually began to fade. When people began to show up one after another while I was engaged with those thugs, I thought it was frightening. But now, I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The villagers prepared to defend their homeland to the death. The sense of solidarity that fostered. It might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protest against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity. Kei-chan, you weren't here at the time, so I don't think you can fully feel the solidarity in the village. But everybody shares it. Thoroughly. Even with somebody who just moved here like you, Kei-chan.
She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me out when I just moved here, even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. A hot feeling began welling up inside of me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbors. I thought that was natural, but here, that was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all the other villagers viewed me as a comrade. Happiness and warmth. I was acutely aware of those feelings as they gradually welled up inside of me.
Sonozaki-san, the manager wants you to work the floor.
A more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for work.
Ah, okay. I'm coming. Sorry. Looks like I have to get to work now.
That's fine. Thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun.
Oh, are you going home?
Yeah. My mom gets fussy if I'm not home by dinner time. It seemed that Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Like we hadn't talked enough. That kind of feeling. Looking at that expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed Mion like that. I was about to say that I could stay for a little bit longer when Shion got up from her seat.
Here. If you use the coupon, it should cover the pancakes as well.
Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she tore out a few sheets and handed them to me.
Convenient, isn't it? It's a perk I get on the top of my salary.
It's okay. I can pay for the pancakes myself.
Hey! Being so reserved doesn't fit you, Kei-chan. If I were my sister, you would have gladly let me pay for it.
She said as she laughed, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with such an encouraging smile really resounded with me.
Sonozaki-san, sorry, could you take care of the register? Ah yes, right away.
Later, today was fun. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me. Oh, Mion! Thanks a lot for today. I owe you one.
If you really think that, then return the favor. I'm looking forward to it.
After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. I thought he did that on purpose. Okay. Home again. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. Might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to accrue knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients. You idiot! It's obvious that Tokyo Tower is taller! Ah! Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Nice. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right. But if I were actually up on stage, I'd probably fail miserably. Oh, phone time.
Keiichi, phone call from Sonozaki-san.
Okay. Sonozaki? That's Mion. It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it was something to do with club activities. She was probably going to inform me about what we were doing tomorrow. This was Mion we're talking about. She might even go so far as to say we're doing club activities right now, so hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 p.m. Hello? No way we're having a club battle right now.
Huh? That's not it.
I figured it was Shion. It was Mion, but it was a very un-Mion-like way of talking. Huh? Could it be? Sorry. Could it be you're not Mion, but Shion?
That's right. Good evening. I'm sorry for calling so late.
For Mion, this would have been an ill-fittingly polite way of talking. But since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person. With a dry smile, I enjoyed that mysterious feeling. No, it's fine. What's up?
Kei-chan, do you like sweets? Like cakes or desserts?
There was no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed glutton.
That's great. Actually, there's a new dessert contest this summer.
Looks like they have a new dessert menu every season. So they were hiring taste testers for potential desserts.
The desserts at Angel Mort have a good reputation. It's pretty difficult to get accepted as a taste tester. I'll get right to the point. Ta-da!
You say ta-da, but I can't see over the phone. Still, could it be?
That's right! I have a taste testing ticket right here. If you don't mind sweets, how about it?
When you say how about it, you basically mean, With that ticket, I can eat all the new desserts I want? They say to beware of honey pots, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. All you can eat free dessert? No way!
If you're okay with that, I'll register you as a taste tester. When you come to the restaurant tomorrow, just give the person in charge your name. Then everything will work out.
When you say everything will work out, you mean all you can eat? For free?
Yeah, it's free. There's quite a bit, so I recommend you come hungry.
This was such a delectable opportunity, it was almost scary. This was really Shion, right? It wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same person.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kei-chan. You're thinking this is too good to be true, right?
I mean, I would never.
I heard from my sister, but you're really somebody who can't tell a lie. I'm not averse to somebody like that.
Shion laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like how Mion would laugh.
It's not like I was intending on it. But it just so happens that my shift ends early tomorrow. If it's not a bother, I thought maybe we could spend a little time together after I'm done.
Your shift ends early tomorrow?
Yeah. So while you take your time eating dessert, I'll finish up.
Well, I didn't have any plans anyway. I don't mind hanging out with you for a bit.
It's not like we have to go anywhere. I was thinking we could cool off in the evening while we take a walk.
There was no reason for me to refuse. Out of courtesy, I might as well take her up on her offer.
By the way, Kei-chan, you and I have been meeting up every day, haven't we?
Now that you say it, I guess we have.
Since you said okay, we have an excuse to meet again tomorrow.
Huh? What was Mion saying?
Kei-chan, your voice is cracked. What's the matter?
It wasn't a video phone, but she could tell I was beet red.
Well then, you should definitely come tomorrow. I'll take my leave here. Good night.
Good night. Shion, finished with what she had to say, ended the conversation without any chit-chat. When I returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mom was sleeping in the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went upstairs and returned to my room. I've only been receiving favors from Shion, haven't I? She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those thugs. She was supposed to be a different person, so I could thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'll pass it on to her sister. I have to thank Shion directly. Tomorrow I'll have to repay her somehow. And then... Womp. Yeah, I knew it. Woohoo. Alright. Tips. Would not be surprised. Yep, details of the Delinquent 3. Okay. Thought they were unimportant. Oh, achievement unlocked, mob mentality. That's a fucking creepy icon for what I'm assuming it's referring to, but whatever. Details of the Delinquent 3. Oh, okay. Why are you arresting us? Bullshit! Let go of me! Kuma-chan, you can let go of their arms now. Here, please. Sit down. The three people rubbed their arms painfully. Kumatani-kun and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly. Nah, don't get me wrong. I haven't arrested you or anything. Kuma-chan, go get me something cold from the fridge, please. Would you like your barley with foam or without? They plunked down onto the reception sofa, and despite not yelling anymore, they still had dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young again. I'll drink even if you don't, you know. Excuse me for helping myself. Beer is best when you drink it on the job. Okay. As he downed the beer with glee, the three people exchanged glances, then finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious. It was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents. Where did you guys come from? You're not from around here. They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell him. Are you all college students? Friends on a trip? You were probably traveling on bikes or something. Sounds like fun I wish I was having. You don't live close by, do you? Where did you come from? Osaka, perhaps? What's the matter to ya? Now, there's no use trying to intimidate me. You would have all been in a lot of trouble if I'd left you there, right? They seemed to recall the thrilling event from earlier. While they could understand getting surrounded by students, or a gang, or something along those lines, they would never have been surrounded by locals, both young and old, both men and women, before. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been. If you were from here, the people of Hinamizawa wouldn't have done anything to you, no matter what you had done wrong. They're all special. Not in the sense of parents not wanting to get involved in their children's fights. If one person gets bullied, the village will come out in full force. That's not just an idle threat, you know. They couldn't argue against that. They themselves had been surrounded. They'd seen it with their own eyes. There was no doubt about it. Around these parts, if the people of Hinamizawa give you a glare like that, you'll simply get demoned away and no one will hear from you again. You'll suddenly disappear without a trace. Do you all have families that would get the police to search for you if you went missing? If not, then that's bad. You'll vanish and that'll be the end of it. Even then, we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting on a couch right now. They might be lying on an autopsy table. Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'd be a little more cooperative if we'd found them as corpses. How did you all get to Okinomiya? By train? By bike? Bike? That's not good. They're still parked there, aren't they? If you go waltzing in to get them back, they might really gang up on you. How's that? I'm gonna take them all. Calm down, calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting? You don't want any more trouble, right? Tell me the bike license plate numbers. I'll bring them here for you. Kuma-chan, please borrow the loading truck we use for traffic disasters. Got it. It's fine. We'll get them ourselves. Do you really want to get surrounded again? The police may not be fast enough to save you this time. It's fine, innit? If we surrounded, they're gonna get knocked down. Hey, you three. You're drinking the barley with foam, right? Try turning your engines on. I'll arrest you on the spot for drunk driving. That's fucking dirty. Your tax dollars will be put to good use in bringing all your bikes back here. Quit complaining and tell me the goddamn license plate numbers, you pieces of shit. Okay. The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they just bought the bikes. Well, that's what I thought. Kuma-chan, go with the truck and bring the bikes back. Get the tough-looking red Yamaha, the one with the broken red tail light, and the white one that had the packing tape stuck to the seat. It's those ones. They belong to you, right? They didn't answer. Those must be the right ones. Oishi-san, the truck's here, so I'll get going. Yes, please do. Wait, Kuma-chan, hold on. One more thing. What's up? Look up the numbers. You don't want to bring the wrong ones back. The three people's faces changed color. They made themselves very easy to understand. Let's take it easy here until your bikes get back. There's more beer, you know. We have some snacks, too. Want to watch TV? There's probably nothing on, though. Nah, thanks. We's leaving. Don't want to hang here forever. Suddenly, there were 5 or 6 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa. What? What did we do? Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands. Okay. Oh, hello, Mr. Stinkbug. Date, look, a stink bug. Woo! Fucking die. Alright, I don't know where he ended up, but I launched him across my fucking room. So, hell yeah, not on my mouse, right? Alright, cool. Everything's good then. Nice. Alright, exit. Let's read a bit more. Not sure how much further I can get, but we'll see. Nothing creepy's happened yet, at least. So, we'll see. I knew we wouldn't be doing any club activities after school today before Mion even said anything. I'd been invited over by Shion for an all-you-can-eat dessert. I made a point of leaving half my lunch uneaten. My expectations would only be rivaled by my hunger.
Keiichi-kun, you seem kind of happy today. Did something good happen? Did it?
I guess it was obvious. Rena had questioned me with a happy look. That's right. Why don't I invite Rena for dessert as well? No, if I recall correctly, Shion said something about having a ticket. At worst, the restaurant might be admission by ticket only today. If that was the case, then having Rena be turned away at the door would result in the worst feeling ever. Yeah, I got a little lucky. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Rena, you'll definitely be jealous.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is it? What is it? I'm jealous. I'm jealous. This lucky thing. Is it cute? Is it?
Cute? I wonder what Rena would think of the uniforms at Angel Mort. They'd definitely be a critical hit. Probably. It's probably pretty cute.
Huh? I'm jelly.
Okay.
What is it? What is it?
What kind of fortune were you blessed with? Huh? Could it be you participated in the draw at Angel Mort about 2 months ago? And won? Hey now, I hadn't even transferred here 2 months ago. Oh, that's right. Then it's not the Angel's Dessert Festa then.
Mi-chan, what is the Angel's Dessert Festa exactly?
You know there's that family restaurant called Angel Mort right by Okinomiya Station? Every season they hold an event to promote their new dessert menu. That's today. No, it's no use going. The restaurant is reserved for people who won the draw. Mion explained once again what Shion explained to me last night.
Rena will have to stop by the restaurant sometime. I'll do my best to draw a winning ticket and aim to enter the next all-you-can-eat event.
Knock yourself out. By the way, this is just something I heard, but there's a rumor that the tickets are being sold on the black market for a pretty penny. Hearing that story, I felt even more appreciative of the ticket that Shion had procured for me. I just thought I was lucky to be able to eat dessert for free, but it turned out that that ticket was much more valuable. The number of things I had to thank Shion for had increased again. Thanks. I didn't know it was worth so much. I whispered in a voice only Mion could hear. That was how I conveyed my feelings. Mion looked at me for a moment before she tilted her head to the side and smiled confusedly. What? Did you say something? It would be a problem if she said something to me right now. That smile seemed to be telling me as much. I guess Mion wouldn't be accepting any gratitude while she was Mion. I'll go to the restaurant. Today I'll thank Mion while she's Shion. Well then, this old man will take his leave here. The work today is gonna be a little rough. Later! Mion waved her hand energetically as she left.
Hey, Keiichi-kun. Mi-chan has been kind of weird lately. Like she's elated or something.
What? You think so? Rena was pretty sharp when it came to these types of things. To me, Mion seemed the same as always, but Rena apparently felt something different.
You don't know, Keiichi-kun? I totally thought you knew.
Rena's skirt fluttered as she spun around with a coy smile. Know what, exactly? I was obviously weaseling my way out of the question, but I wasn't lying. Honestly, I didn't really know what was going on. Why did Shion, a persona of Mion that she'd created, appear before me? Something was blatantly up, but Rena paid it no heed.
Oh, really? I wonder what it is then. When Mi-chan is in a good mood, so is Rena. Huh?
Saying that, she spread her arms wide and spun around fuck! Words not work, not. I didn't know why, but Rena was in a really good mood. It was so infectious that I had to smile too. Even the chirping of the cicadas seemed joyful.
But, you see...
Rena abruptly stopped spinning. Her expression returned to a more somber one.
You see, Mi-chan, lately, she's been in a lot of pain.
What do you mean, pain? The pain that Rena was talking about probably wasn't physical.
At first she tried to pretend it wasn't a big deal, but like a wound, it began to fester and grow. Eventually, she was no longer able to bear the pain, and woke up in the middle of the night. And then she phoned Rena. Mi-chan was crying.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Huh? What is Rena talking about? What?
Hey, don't play dumb like that. Just now you said...
I don't know. Rena doesn't know anything. Huh?
Okay. Rena spun as she laughed innocently. Eventually, she appeared to get sick, stumbling as she steadied herself again with her hand against the wall.
Huh? The room is spinning.
That was dumb. That's what you get for getting carried away and spinning like that.
Sorry. I think I feel sick.
I'll lend the ditz a shoulder to lean on. To be stumbling around like a newborn foal at this age is actually quite a feat. Rena, in a good mood, only babbled incoherently after that. I laughed as I responded to and chided her. However, the chance to revisit that heavy topic Rena had brought up before never arrived. Interesting. If there's tips, that'd be perfect. Padding to the rest of the video. There are not, it seems. Alright. Well, I was hoping that chapter would be a little bit longer, but whatever. That's gonna be it for this episode then, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!